Greetings and God bless. I just wanted to document my experience with Xfinity, which is, I guess, a company of the shell company Comcast. So, 2 years ago, when the lockdown happened, when my dad was still alive, he was trying to figure out his mobile phone, and it was an Xfinity mobile, and it wasn't working. So, him and another person took it to a phone store, and it wasn't salvageable, so they left the phone there. And a few months later, as I understand it, it was a few months later when he had no phone, he wasn't using the phone, that or it was actually more than a few months, maybe 6 months, he he's calling about something else, and he found out that Xfinity Mobile had been billing him and billed him up to $2,000 because they didn't inform him. Nobody called him. Nobody mailed him anything. And he is this 85-year-old immigrant with some cognitive impairment, and yet they were expecting him to figure out their website, and uh, they don't even know how to use their website, and their website is not that complicated. Because when he set up the account, he said, "You'll send me a paper bill, please send me a paper bill." Or when he called to get to work on something else, he was like, "Send me a paper bill." And they would assure him they'd send him a paper bill, but they never did. And so finally, I went into his account, and then I set it to send him a paper bill. But it was only because one of his children, went into his account and set the bill to be a paper bill. And anyway, so they charged him for use of for a phone, and for time and stuff, that he didn't have a phone, he wasn't using it. And if you looked on the records, it wasn't there. Like his activity didn't seem to be listed. And I finally got through to somebody, and they said, "Oh wow, this is the worst fraud that I've seen." And she was going to get back to me. Of course, she never got back to me, and I tried calling, and she was nowhere to be found. Uh, and so I had, of course, sent faxes and emails and just all the documentation I could. I sent it to different people at Xfinity. And when I tried calling Xfinity, like their customer service, my phone number was blocked. So they were blocking me. They didn't even want me to call them. Uh, and uh, and I mean, it's just crazy. So, anyways, I had filed a couple complaints with the Attorney General, Attorney General, whoever, for customer service, or yeah, customer issues. And so, anyways, lastly, so this all this drama with Comcast Xfinity, they're run around. It's a shell company. You don't even know who to talk to because Comcast doesn't know. Xfinity doesn't know. Xfinity Mobile isn't accessible. So what do you think that does in a family with, somebody's elderly, and not all the adult children have the time and whatever it takes to deal with this unnecessary distress that Comcast is a master of. They are a master of friction and obfuscation and stealing money from elderly people. I'm just going to say it. And also stealing your peace of mind. I mean, this was torture for me. And also just that's just it's just careless. And the people in Comcast know, like the executives know, the executive secretaries know, because I was telling them my experience, and they weren't like surprised. So these monsters these monsters at Comcast think that they can torture American customers for some reason. Maybe we're just stupid enough to put up with it so that we get this to be tortured. But, anyways, so this torture for the last 2 years of my dad's life, like, this did not improve his experience with me because I'm like freaking out, frustrated because Comcast is giving me this whole runaround and I'm doing like this, giving every single detail, and nobody's paying attention. Nobody cares. And so, my dad, I believe, along with other forced, pressured medical things that had been going on that he was following that was not advisable with somebody with multiple pre existing conditions, he passed away. And Comcast Xfinity kept sending a bill. And I told them 2 days, I knew I had to tell Xfinity Comcast, look, he's dead. Please update your records. Of course they didn't. And I'm like this, it's just unbelievable how Xfinity Comcast is, how inhumane, and they're not even just inhumane. It's not like humane, inhumane. Xfinity Comcast takes this to a whole other level. Like, I mean, it's just like this pathological abuse or something like that. Because I've written to like the executive of customer service and whatnot. Anyway, so they've been calling me, and I'm like, you guys are incompetent. I'm not going to deal with you. You have all the records. You have all of the account numbers. I've sent it to you 20 times. So anyway, somebody calls, and I thought it was the district attorney or the attorney general, but no, it was somebody from Comcast. And so they're like, I don't have the account number. So this guy is the escalation guy, and he doesn't have the account number. And I have sent the account number, and I've sent the escalation numbers, and I've sent the address, and I've sent all the details. So I told him, your company is so incompetent. And he was like, well, if you don't give me the information, I can't. And I'm like, I'm not saying I'm not going to give you the information. I'm saying your company is so incompetent. And he gets all upset at me. And I'm like, you're the escalation guy. I've been working on this for years, and they can't, your fellow employees cannot give you the account number. And I start feeling the stress, like that, because my guts get all torn up dealing with this incompetence and this, like, these guys are expert runaround, obfuscation, gaslighting. I mean, they're expert torturers, really. And yeah, they're taking care of their kids. They're putting their kids through college. They're taking care of their pets or whatever it is. What is, they're paying their mortgage, so they're going to torture other people. And because they're, and everybody supports that. Everybody's like, well, as long as you're making money, so you're paying for your college kids tuition and you're paying your mortgage, you can do whatever. You can just, destroy other people's peace of mind as long as you're paying all this money. I mean, that's what seems to me. If you're actually being a decent human being and you're not hurting other people and you're living maybe modestly, you're disgusting. You're scum, because who's doing, I watch Crowdsourcing the Truth, and the hosts of that channel, they love despising, hating on homeless people. And the thing is, those homeless people, they're sitting on a bench, they're sitting on a stoop, they're sitting down, and they may not look pretty. They may be a little deranged or very deranged, but you know what? Those people are not torturing your relatives and charging them thousands of dollars and weaponizing your need for utilities or weaponizing your need for closure. I mean, they're like it's very interesting because the people who are really harming humans are generally respectable people. I mean, who's harming who in those big buildings you go to when you're concerned about of physiological issue. What's been going on with that? Um, like what's going on in those big buildings that kids go to, and they're trying to do certain things. You know, like I'm sorry, the homeless people. They love showing the ones on. It's in Philadelphia, fentanyl. And they love showing the zombie like thing. Yeah, some homeless people, drug addicts, they're not pretty. They don't make it look pretty. They don't boost your real estate value. But they're not, those people are not trafficking other people. Those people are not torturing thousands of people. Verizon, Comcast, Xfinity, or what's the other one? AT&T are the top three worst telecom companies. If you look up major companies like Yelp reviews, Better Business Bureau complaints, or whatever, or just whatever. I mean, just people complaining. You will read the pathos that these big companies put people through. Like, yes, some homeless people, they freak you out. They're but they're not. They don't like. Generally, they're just like in their own world, traumatized and dysfunctional. They don't. They're not weaponizing your account, your billing, uh, bill collectors. They're not doing that. Who's weaponizing that kind of stuff? It's like places like Xfinity, Comcast, AT&T, Verizon, because it's your phone. Everybody, like they know that they're so essential, they can abuse their customers, and they do. That's the thing. And the government does nothing. Like, our regulators do nothing. And they probably don't do anything because there's some sort of law that protects the telecom industry, or there's lobbyists or something like that. Like, lobbyists, that's another totally evil thing. And insurance companies, that's another like known total evil thing. um yeah, and it's just very interesting how that there's so much, even in the alternative, in the left, there's a lot of hate for, or maybe not the left, I shouldn't say. Yeah, I'm like thinking, the left from like 20 years ago. uh, in the alternative media, in the truther realm, which isn't left anymore, right? It's like the truther seems like people think it's conservative and the right. But anyway, even truthers seem to have some hate for homeless people. And I mean, homeless people, drug addicts, that's a difficult population. It's a difficult personality type. And um, there can be malignant narcissists everywhere, and you can find that in that demographic. But when somebody has no resources, they're not doing harm like somebody who has a lot of resources, like the CEO of Xfinity, Comcast, or whatever. The CEO of the United States, right? So anyway, it's just unbelievable how incompetent Comcast is. And it's like, my dad is dead, and like they just don't know how to do their job. It's amazing that they're a world company, and you know like, they don't know how to do things. And if the right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing, and they're leaving it to the customer to do all their work, and they won't even let that happen. Like, I don't know if artificial intelligence is running these big businesses, and that's why there's so much incompetence. And I don't know if artificial intelligence, if it is running these companies, if they want to cause real humans to self-destruct. And uh, because I'm wondering, like, how do people live with themselves, doing bad things, working, just working to torture people, not doing their job, um, when it's an important, essential kind of a thing. And I'm just like, are they even human? Doing horrible things to other people for the name of a paycheck. for their status and leverage, just to keep up appearances. So, anyways, those I just had to get that off my chest, and just don't have any of these companies that are really bad companies. Don't have them. Don't hire them. Like, don't use them, and certainly don't have your elderly parents sign up with them, because they do not help you at all. So, thank you for watching. God bless.